Hi everybody, welcome to Paper Wishes Weekly Webisodes. I'm Lene Gehrig, and today from our friends at Ciao, I have the most gorgeous junk journal and ephemera book. This one's called Book Lovers. It is just full of beautiful pattern paper, but really just all of these cutouts, sticker sheets, amazing. And you guys, I used it to make this card. And when you open it up, there's a little pocket there for a little gift card. This is our giveaway card for this episode, so if you stick around, you'll learn how one lucky viewer can win this card to keep or share with a friend. So come play with us. All right, let's take a flip through this. It says here you get cut and create 160 plus images for junk journal, collage, scrapbooking, card making, and paper crafts. 32 pages printed on 140 GSM acid and lignin free paper. Includes 4 transparent adhesive sheets. All right, so right off the bat on the cover part right here where it's nice and thick, you have these little foldable little mini books, and you've also got these pockets that you cut out. And then this is a cutout sheet for stickers. So you would just cut around this. You could just cut loosely if you'd like, because it is transparent material, so you don't have to get it right next to the image, so it makes it really easy to cut out, because then it's just a translucent sticker. All right, so then beautiful pages. These are great for cutting out, and I did a lot of that, and I did a lot of tearing as well. So nobody's trying to get really up close to these images. And then on the back of that, beautiful. These are beautiful. I think they make fantastic like bookmarks or something like that, but they're beautiful borders. And then look at this with the beautiful flowers in vases all through the bookshelves. Okay, here we go with sort of a purple and green theme as well here. Beautiful little couple. And then on the back of that, this beautiful bookshelf with all this script writing with the letters and the books. And then look at all the different kinds of bookshops, which is just amazing. So you've got some that are definitely American in style and some that are definitely like European. I think that is amazing. This beautiful lavender floral, another beautiful sheet of sticker cutouts. And then look at all the gorgeous lavender and purples. And then on the back of that, this beautiful library, more things to cut out. And then on the back of that, this beautiful sort of burgundy tapestry paper, beautiful artwork, and then all these beautiful books. This one's so beautiful. Look at the beautiful architecture, and then you're just looking into this gorgeous little room. And then I love this, just a girl who loves books, books and coffee, and then book lover definitions, just like the satchel full of books, just all these really fun details. Beautiful. Vintage bookshop. Beautiful. I love this one here. A woman cannot survive alone on books alone. She also needs a cat. I think that is amazing. Okay. This beautiful looks like wallpaper with the peeling paint on that. It's a really nice sage green. And then another sticker sheet for cutting out. And then this is really cool. It's got these 2 beautiful tags. And then this is like the individual sheets of book paper, okay? And then sheets of lined paper. And then on the back, you've got all these beautiful bookshelves. This looks like a beautiful doorway, gorgeous with the typewriter. Another beautiful tapestry in pinks and greens. And more like bookmarks here. And then the gorgeous sort of taupe, ivory, brown tapestry with a script greeting over it. Another beautiful sheet of stickers. And then this is really cool. This is a cutout piece right here, and I wanted to show you this one. You cut it out like this. It makes this cool envelope. I inked the edges of mine. It helps to score instead of just fold, but then score the edges and then fold. And then put a little one of these little cutouts with a little bit of foam tape, leaving this part free. And then you can just lift this part up. Oops. lift this part up and then just put that down. And I'm gonna actually put this inside of one of the projects. That is really cool. These are more little pockets. And if you open this up, okay, on this side, oops, here we go. You just keep opening this out. Look at this. So this is the one we just worked on. Then on the next page, it's got another cool pocket. This one, it shows you how to fold it because the rest of them are pretty self-explanatory. Another little pocket here, here, here. So cool, right? All right, so we've seen all of this. I also have more to show you. I will flip through these titles at the end. We have Wizard Academy, and then we also have Wanderlust. So you can check these out as well. Let's see, let's start with this one that we did in the opening. All right, so for this one, you guys, this is a 5 by 6.5 inch card. We can go ahead and zoom in a little bit on this one. And for this one, I took that beautiful sort of like brown floral paper, and I used a lot of the cocoa bean on this, and my favorite little applicator tool as well. And then just cut that slightly smaller than the card, and then went ahead and I inked the card edge as well. Right over here on the edge, I used gold thin line dazzle stickers, and I used this one right here, which is one of my favorites, kind of a chunky little border. And I put that right down on the left edge. And then I cut out one of the bookshop pieces. I just really cut it out straight with straight lines and then inked the edges of that. So this is glued. The Bibliocore, the comforting smell of books, that I foam taped, but don't forget to ink the edges. And then on each corner of that, just a little, if I can find it here, just a little gold mirror jewel dazzle sticker on each corner. Cut out the stack of books, inked the edges of that, foam taped this and this, and then the little book lover, also a cutout, put a little jewel dazzle there. These flowers, glued this one, foam taped this one. And we open this up, one of the stickers, and you'll see here, I didn't try to get, you know, I just kind of loosely went around it. So you're not trying to cut out every leaf or anything. Attach that right there, just peeled off the backing. These are just scrap pieces that I just cut into strips, and I glued one here and then another one of those little thin line gold dazzles there. This right here is one of the stickers. Put that there, went ahead and put the strip of paper over it. We've got our little gold thin line dazzle here. Folded one of the pockets, inked the edges, glued that right here. And then not only does it have a little gift card, it also has a little one of the cutouts right there. So cute to go in there. And then cut out the little bookstore, inking those edges. And then glued this one, glued this one, and then these two right here, tore this one out. So because everything's kind of tight in there, I cut around it first and just tried to leave as much room as I could, and then just made tiny little tears around the edges, inked those edges, cut this one out, inked these edges, and this one is foam taped here, but it's glued over here because there's a little difference in height. Put a couple of those little gold mirror dazzle stickers there, and oops, chair just dropped. And then this one is our beautiful little More Greetings dazzle stickers that have a beautiful script on them, and I just added hi right there. That one is really fun to put together. All right, so let's take a look at another one. All right, so I wanted to show you how you could use these in a journal as well. We've been using this one a lot lately. This one is by Stamperia, and it is 5.8 inches by 8.3 inches, or A5. All right, so for this one, I like to have something on one side that's decorative and beautiful, and then leave lots of space on the other side for writing in your journal. But I like to decorate those pages for the writing side that just has maybe a little bit of a stencil on it. I'm going to show you what I used in a moment. So here I wanted to dedicate something to all my cat lover friends. So I did a little stenciling on the background, and how I did that first, that was my very first step, was I used the Stamperia stencil, this beautiful rose stencil. All of these items are listed down below the video if you're watching us on our webisode page. And if you're on YouTube, just hop on over by checking out the link that's down below the video. So for this, you guys, I used that cocoa bean ink again. Here we go. And I just put my little stencil right here, and I wanted to go ahead and just add a little bit of color to the corner here and then up here. All right. So what I did is I just did a little bit like this, and then going off of the edge, and then not inking the whole thing is important. And it's just going to give you kind of that ghosted back little rose look to that. Very simple to do. Okay, and then I added here one of the cat stickers. Cut that out. This is Read, Write, Imagine, so glue, foam tape, glue. And over here we've got the bookshelves with all the cats lounging on it, which was adorable. So I just cut out what would fit within this page, a little bit right here. Tore this one out of the girl just reading and holding her cat, tore out the little roses, and then cut out. This is a sticker, and then glue, or rather glue this one first, this one, foam tape, and then stick this one down. Added those little jewel mirror dazzle stickers, and that's another one of those gold thin line border dazzle stickers. So yeah, plenty of room to write on this one. All right, so next, more cards. All right, so for this one, you guys, this is a tent fold card, and it's 5 by 7. And I took some of that beautiful lavender floral paper, and I cut it just slightly smaller than the 5 by 7 card, but the bottom edge, I tore that one. And then I inked everything using a little bit of violet ink and an applicator just to soften that edge. And then I've also inked the edge of the card. And then down below here, I used little purple jewel dazzle sticker, just border dazzle right across the bottom. So then I cut out this bike shape, which was so cool, and then glued that, and then just tore out this shape with the girl. And once again, cut out loosely around it, and then just did little tiny tears around that. Foam taped this, added that We're Together, oh no, not We're Together. This one is the More Greetings dazzle stickers, added just because there. And then this right here, some of our cute little rose lace appliques, and glued that right there. And then these beautiful purple flowers, added some of those directly to the basket. Up here, foam taped this. Before I foam taped that, I should mention white lace right across the top edge. Then foam taped this little cutout, foam taped the butterfly, and then I added those purple flowers. So yeah, this was a really fun one to do, and I think I love the colors. All right, and my last project. All right, so not too long ago, I was showing you this notebook and journaling 8x8 paper pad by Hunky Dory, and it has all of these lined papers that you can cut to the dimensions that you like. I love the checklist. So I used this and the coordinating little discs and the little punch to make this little book journal. So this journal, my thought was, I like to write down, like when I go into a bookstore, I like to write down titles that I want to read and then check off the ones that I have just throughout the year, and that way I can see how many books I've read throughout the year. So for this one, you guys, we used a little bit of 110-pound weight craft cardstock. Okay, I'll list that down below the video, but it makes a really nice thick cover. And you don't want to do too many layers of paper on your cover. Okay, that's why you see I just stopped short of doing the edges, because the little punch, you know, doesn't go through, you know, a ton of layers. So this is already 110 pound, it's pretty thick. So I went ahead and I punched those. I'm going to show you how I punched them. And this is just a real collage. I took literal scraps of paper after I was done with the rest of the projects I did. And I just inked the edges of those with that cocoa bean ink. So little strip of paper here. And it's got a torn edge on this side. And then cut these out, inked the edges, glued, This is another little scrap that I had of that lavender paper from this card. And I just added that right there and then glued these down, cut these out, made a really easy cover. And then this part right here is our white fancy border dazzle stickers that are like lace, which I love. There we go. And just added one of those little borders at the top, then added some of those little gold mirror dazzle stickers right here. And then on the inside, another scrap of paper here, folded one of those little pockets, put a little scrap that I had left of the border from this side, put that along the top. And what a great little place for your bookmark, okay? You could put a couple of them in there if you've got a couple books going at the same time. And then here's the lined paper from the book that I went ahead and just cut in half. Now, let me give you the dimensions of this. So the covers are 4.5 inches by 8.5 inches. And I cut out 3 of those. And here's why. I have one for the front, one for the back, and then one for the middle that's like a separator. Okay, actually, this is the separator one. All right, and so I have the front and back done. Same thing here, scrap of paper, bookshop, everything, and then covered the back with some nice paper. And then this one, scrap of paper here. These dazzle stickers weren't quite as long as this paper, so I went ahead and just added a little bit on there. And then here's a sticker. This is a cutout, 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 little jewel dazzle sticker. And then on the back, once again, scrap of paper, cut out some of these flowers, added these. So now let's put this together. So for the little punches, I went 1 inch from each end and put a little mark. And then after that, I did 2 inches, 2 inches, and 2 inches. All right, I did that on both sides. So let's do that here. So 1 inch from each end. And then it's helpful just to put a little line there. Okay, and then another inch from this side, did a little line. And then you do 2 inches and 2 inches right there. And then you take your little punch. And Debbie and I like to take the backing off the punch. Makes it so much easier to use. And it's like a little mushroom shape, which is so cute. And you're putting the line that you just drew on there, goes right in that, like the stem of the mushroom. There's your little mushroom shape. And then, like that. Just as long as your line is in that little mushroom stem, you are good to go. I've got 2 layers of paper going on here, so it's a little tricky. All right, so there we've got all of those punched. And then on these inside pages, I went ahead and cut them in half. Okay, so these are 8 inches long, and then they are 4 inches wide because I wanted to have a little bit of a border going around here, okay? And then for these, I literally just set the paper down, and then I just marked it here and here. I just aligned it with the holes, okay? Because this is smaller, you want to allow for that. All right, so we went ahead and we're going to do the back cover. Here we go. Like that. And then I thought it would be a fun place to divide them with that divider page. And then this one, I just went ahead and decorated that with just a little sticker. And that goes right there. And that goes right there. And then we have to have these little these little discs. And they come in a much larger bag. Here's one that's unused. Okay, we're gonna need, 4 of those. And then I like to just do I've done this a couple of different ways, and I'm not sure which is the best way to do it. If you guys have a better way to do this, let me know. But I like to align like a bunch of these at once and then add them in. Or do you guys do them a little bit like one at a time? So let's just put it on the cover like this first. Oh, my bookmarks. I was like, what's under there? It's the bookmark. I'm just going to take the bookmark out. Okay, and you're just going like this to attach all those little discs. All right, so then once you have those attached, then I think it's easier just to kind of go like this. Go. And if you're interested in more ideas using these little disc binders, we did a whole video on it. I think it was last week. Right, and then you're just adding in those little layers. Oops, there's one of my little mushrooms. And then this one. And then I thought initially I could add in one of the little folded little envelopes, and what a great place to put, like, I don't know, like receipts for books and things like that, notes. And you could just glue it into one of the pages like that, leaving room for the binding, but I covered all of my pages, but I did want to show you that. There we go. And then I find that it just takes a little bit to like move things back and forth, and then they move quite easily. And then you just put your bookmark back in there. And then your little book journal is all ready to go. So cute. I thought that was fun. So before we end here, you guys, I did want to show you the other beautiful junk journal and ephemera books that we have. This one is a Wizard Academy. So cool. Very kind of Harry Potter, okay? I love that. My daughter is a big Harry Potter fan. So am I, really. I've read all the books too. And I will, as I'm going through this, tell you all about the money saver for the book lovers. Is right over there on the right hand side. We will list these down below the video in the items listed, but they're not part of the money saver. And Paulette did want to show you these. She just couldn't make up her mind, so she ordered all of these. And we just think they're so beautiful with all the stickers, all the wizards, chess. Look at the architecture there. Very cool. All right, and then this one is the Wanderlust, which is definitely very cool if you are into travel. Would just make fantastic travel journals, scrapbook pages. An entire scrapbook would be so cool using this one. So while I'm flipping through, don't forget, if you're watching us on YouTube, to subscribe. We would really appreciate that. It helps people find our videos. And if you're looking for information about this webisode and where to find the money savers and all the deals, just look below the video in the description box, and you'll see a link that will take you to this webisode page. And as I said, while you're there, subscribe. And if you're watching us on our webisode page, the money saver's right there on the right hand side. And then down below the video, we have full color photos of all the different cards and all of the supplies that we used. Really cool. All right, so definitely check these out. I'll put the links down below the video. And these are all the projects that I showed you. Oops, there we go. All right, thanks so much for joining me today, you guys. I had a lot of fun making these projects. I hope you enjoyed them, and we'll see you in the next one. I'm back. I forgot to tell you about our giveaway card and how that works. Sorry about that. I just got too excited about all the products. So how that works is we're promoting our Paper Wishes YouTube channel. If you're watching us over on our webisode page on paperwishes.com, just hop on over to YouTube, and we ask that you subscribe to our YouTube channel, like this video with a thumbs up, and then leave a comment. And then after about a week, we'll leave a comment to one of the viewers that says, "Congratulations, YouTube username blank." And that username is how we identify the winner, because we don't know your email address. And then we give you instructions on how to claim your card. So definitely participate in that. We give away cards on Tuesday videos, Wednesday videos, and Thursday videos every week. And we would love it if you would participate. All right, that's all. Thanks, you guys.